is the acceptance of the minutes from our April 28th meeting. Entertain a motion.
Move that, Mr. Mayor.
Posher, do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. King, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution is adopted, or the minutes are adopted. Acceptance of the annual report. Entertain a motion. Moved by Mr. Riggi, second by Porterfield. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution is adopted. Acceptance of our 2013 measurables. There's always room for improvement. Trying to do better. Entertain a motion. Moved by Perazzo, by the second.
Second.
Mr. Kosher. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution 2014-09 is adopted. Other business to come before the agency.
Could I just want to have the minutes reflect for the report that we don't, that SURA has this is, when I accept the investment report, I just need to make you aware that SURA only has $4,000 in the bank account. That's where it sits. It is not invested anywhere in any specific funds, in stocks, bonds, or anything. And because of that, there's no investment report, we have no investment policy, and it's not audited. I just want the record to reflect that because I have to sign off that you are aware of that. And also that the audit, we are a component agency of the city of Schenectady. Therefore, the city's audit, which you have all reviewed, reflects SURA's position. So I just want that reflected in the minutes. I'll take care of it. That's other business.
Any questions? Not, I entertain a motion to adjourn for Mr. Kosher, second Mr. Perazzo. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Agency stands adjourned.
You did a fine job.
I'll call Finance Committee to order. First item up is a discussion regarding an RFP for the auditing process and kind of a discussion on the auditing process. This patch here.
Can I have a copy?
Yes.
Oh, no, yes.
Is that the agenda there? And,
That's it.
there you go. Yep.
No, here, take this. It's got backup. Gary's got 20 copies of the agenda.
Oh,
Here's the backup.
That's all copies of the agenda.
send back the other one.
Those are just copies. The thin one there, Gary. That
That's all
one
agenda.
there. It's just blank copies of the agenda set.
So, as we went through the auditing process this year, there was question in terms of what things were within scope of the audit, things like that. So, wanted to just formally kick off a process or find out the right procedure for kind of kicking off a process to do an RFP so that various members of the council could at least add in any areas that they would like to have included for next year. So next year we've got less questions and things kind of flow more appropriately. So do we need to do anything more besides just requests that the finance department put together an RFP, I guess the terms of what would need to be included?
I think that's the question. What's, we can request it.
What are you looking for?
Can we mandate it? I'm not sure of that. I guess we can, but Carl Falatico had sent me an email saying that we would have the authority to do a binding resolution if it's worded correctly. He said, but any resolution would require a 3/4 vote of the members, which ends up being 6 out of 7. So I don't know. But, so I guess the other question is, if we request it, I think, is it still up to the mayor and the finance commissioner to determine if we need to do this? I think the other question is, do we all feel we need to do this? Excuse me, it's Mr. Harrison's committee.
I'm curious to know who's studied what other municipalities do and whether they go out to bid every so many years or whether they, I know that my experience in businesses, you have an audit firm that you use on a regular basis that knows your books, knows your practices and such. So I would be interested in the finance committee reporting back what other municipalities do as best practice also.
So what we found, and it probably depends on who you ask. You'll ask 100 people, they do different things, but a lot of firms will have a form where every so many years they swap out to a different firm. I think this specific question here is just more or less what's included in the scope of the audit. How do we determine what they audit and how deep they audit? I mean, you could audit down to the penny of every nook and cranny, or do you kind of just go over certain areas of what's included in the scope, what's needed to be provided, what kind of reports are we looking for? And that's really, I think, what a lot of the questions revolved around this year is what do we get in terms of report back from our audit?
Okay, so just point of clarification, because I wasn't sure about your answer. Did we actually discuss this with other municipalities, or are you talking about in general?
Just in general, right?
So it would be wise for us as a municipality to talk to other municipalities,
Sure.
number one.
Yep.
Number two, am I being naive to assume that there's legal requirements for this type of thing? I mean, you don't just get to pick how you're audited, right? I mean...
There are general
Right.
guidelines, which there are a number of pamphlets out there. I think the one that I looked at most carefully was the one put out by the Comptroller's Office. And if you want, I've got that in PDF format, and I can send it out to everybody. But I think that's, and it references for certain things, federal government pamphlets and so on. But they talk about best practices and guidelines, and there are some things that are required, but basically, the statutes say an audit, and then they have the guidelines.
So, and correct me if I'm misunderstanding, I think it's not a hard, fast, this is what you must audit, nothing more, nothing less. It's these are the minimum requirements, and I think it's prerogative of the council or to say, hey, we'd like something else included, or we'd like something in addition to. I think we have the ability to request that, but again, I don't know what the premise of law would allow us, right? So this is really coming from there were a lot of questions this year that some of them could and some of them couldn't be answered because of limitations of the scope of the audit, right? So it would be nice to have the council say up front, what are we looking for in return? And that way there'll be less questions next year when the audit comes through.
I mean, do you have specific things that you're looking for?
Yeah, I mean, I did. I know Mr. Mudavaran did. I was kind of hoping he would be here. Most of my questions got answered, so I didn't have too many issues with the amount of auditing they did, so to speak. But I know he had some concerns about some of the reports, and so and again, I don't know if any of the council members as well, but I want to make sure that we're kind of included in the process so that everyone has an opportunity to put their input up front. That way, there's less question afterwards. So assuming we come up with a list, right, and say, hey, these are the things we'd like, is there something that, who starts it? I mean, do we actually put out the RFP and publish it ourselves, or does the administration do it?
I don't think any of us have the expertise to do that.
Right.
So, one suggestion I was going to make is that you sit down, perhaps if you, as chair of finance committee, sit down with Ms. DeGenova and maybe others on her staff, to talk about this and kind of see what's, what kinds of things we can add to.
My preference would be the communication to occur in writing.
Okay.
So we don't go down a path that's subject to misinterpretation.
Okay.
We've gone into some gray areas that really have not benefited anybody.
We can do that.
Okay.
I would also like to see I think it would be due diligence on the finance committee to give us a presentation on what other municipalities use as best practices as far as how often they put their RFP out, or how, what kind of long-standing, I don't want to use the word relationship because that's a little too familiar, but long-standing, contract they have with reputable auditing firms
Like the
and
term
things
of
of
the
that.
contract.
Yes.
What is it?
Yep.
Is it 2 years or 20 years,
Yeah.
somewhere in between? Okay.
I think that would be valuable information.
Yeah. I mean, it's good questions. Any other questions or comments? All right.
Okay, I'll move we adjourn.
Is there a second? I'll second it.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye. All right, I will call City Development and Planning to order, and the first item on the agenda will be Mr. Gillen, kind of giving us an update on the State Street property that's going to be the library.
Yes. Tell them what it is. I'm just kidding. I always come with a board at this. You know, the county made some major improvements to the main library. I think everybody realizes how great they are. We're going to be announcing some additional upgrades to the main library downtown later this week. We're looking at some kind of a phase 2 of that project to make some further enhancements to that great building, which attracts about 400,000 people a year to downtown. So it's one of the major cogs and major venues downtown. The county is also continuing to invest in their branch libraries, and so we're here to talk to you, as we did with the county, about the new library branch in the 900 block of State Street, particularly 948 and 954 State Street. We're going to thank John Polster for all his help and patience with us on this. We have a design for this project. It is really attractive new building that we think will be a catalyst for growth on the 900 block. It's a library branch and family literacy center. There's going to be several classrooms. We look to use this facility for hiring events as we bring companies into town. If this was up and running when we start recruiting for the new CTDI facility out in Glenville in a couple weeks, we could envision doing hiring events here. It's got a computer center, other things that you find in regular library branches, but a real focus on literacy and workforce training and hiring and having some more community space, which is always in high demand. As we all know, people are always looking for rooms to meet in. We really want to recognize again the tremendous beneficence of Phyllis Bourne, who is a librarian and left a major bequest to the county to really be invested in the branch libraries. She had a tremendous, I never got the chance to meet her, she's passed, but she had a great career and as a librarian, and she saved her money a lot better than I've ever saved my money, and made a major bequest to the county for help with this. And the county is investing a large amount in this project as well, and has some state grant funding, a bequest from the Bourne bequest to the county. What we're here to ask you to do is to consider our county purchase offer of $120,000 for this site, 948 and 954 State Street. It's less than an acre of land. That's, we think, a great price. We're not getting 120 for an acre in prime development spots out in the towns. So we think, given the location, it's a tremendous arrangement with the city and furthers the partnership with the city and the county. We just think it's going to be a great addition to that part of State Street and hopefully help us spur additional development in that neighborhood, which really needs it, We need to go up that corridor, and we think this is going to help us do that. So a very good price for the city. It gets us a facility that is really going to be useful, we think, to the community. There's going to be a lot of community input, and there has been a lot of community input and support for this project. Just a great project all around, and the county is proceeding with the design. We have this on the county agenda tomorrow night, so hopefully with the city's approval and the county's approval, we can get this project going and in the ground and start construction and finish it up next year and get going, get this branch open. So happy to take any questions.
Yep. Questions? Ms. Porterfield.
Mr. Gillen, when this project was initially discussed, there was some talk about there being retail associated with it. Now, and I understand that that's not going to happen right now. So how does that impact the current building? Will the building now be larger? How will the space be utilized in the same way?
We're still marketing the space adjoining this site, which gives us space. We actually, the site plan hasn't changed. It could accommodate about a 10,000 foot retail store with parking. So we're going to continue to market that space through the economic development team that we have in partnership with the city and the county. So we hope to continue to get progress there to get a retailer that's consistent with the library branch. You know, we would love to see somebody go up there. So there's still room for that private development next door, but we really need to get going. So the county's basically moving forward with the lights and the sidewalks and the pavement and this building so that this gets going. Right now, as you know, there's a tremendous need in the community with the Carver and Duane branches being closed and needing to get this in the ground as fast as we can, and as we say in the development industry, and get it built. So we still are going to continue to pursue that option to market the balance of the site.
But to private developers, just to be clear, we're not looking to put another not-for-profit.
No, we're looking for, it could be a great site for some interesting market rate housing, some retail. Again, we could put 10,000 square feet there with parking. So it's a really will be a prime development site. But this part of this 900 block of State Street suffers from, as you well know, and the council well knows, it suffers from disinvestment, and it needs catalyst projects, and we think this will be a catalyst project to spur additional development in this part of State Street.
Other questions? Mr. Triggy?
Ray, is there any specific reason why the developer backed out of this, that the retail person backed out?
You know, we were originally talking with a developer who was going to purchase the site and then donate this land to the county. The developer is still looking at the site, but we've got to move forward. You know, I think that the thing is that, you know, we've got to go forward with the consolidation of the two branches and get this facility up and running. So we're still talking to folks who are interested in the site.
So they're still interested?
People are still interested in the site. We never named the developer because we never had a signed deal. The plan at that time was to sell a property to the developer and then have the developer work with the county to build a site. This is going to cost the county a little bit more time and money, but really the community need to get this branch up and built is really what's taking precedence right now. But we still have that second part of the parcel and it's city owned right now. Metroplex did a lot of environmental testing on the site with the city's cooperation, and the site is clean, it's ready to go. And we want to get that sign up and get construction going in this 900 block of State Street.
And Mr. Reedy, I don't know if this will add to the answer, but from my dealings with this, the reason why the developer has not yet come forward has nothing to do with the site. It has to do with their own internal circumstances.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And yeah, the site is right on State Street. They like the complementary use because this is going to be a people generator as we rebuild downtown. The importance of people generators like the library branch, the Y, Proctor's. This is going to be a nice people generator for that block of State Street. So we think it'll help us market not only the adjoining site but the rest of that block of State Street, which really needs a jump start. We think this project does it. And what does the city get? You get a great new library branch, which is desperately needed on this block. Catalyst for development, and you get a great price. 120 is a very good price for this parcel.
Other questions? If not, I believe we should be moving to approve the sale of the property for that price. Okay. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Great.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks. County will hopefully act tomorrow night and we'll get going.
Good.
Okay, we'll see you at the groundbreaking.
Shovel on the ground.
Right. Thanks, guys.
Okay, second item on the agenda is doing a ceremonial resolution for Music Haven for their 25th anniversary.
I'm happy to move it.
Okay?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And if there's nothing else to come before City Development and Planning, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, call to order Health and Recreation. The only item on the agenda is the Affirmative Action Advisory Board appointments. And there's a letter attached to President King, and which all of you should have in your packet as to the appointments that the mayor's recommended. Mayor, did you want to?
Again, thank you for your time and effort in putting this together. Maybe a little slower than we'd all like, but we're here to have really a good slate of individuals who have expressed the interest in working with the city, serving on this board, and just making the community better. So, and we look for the favorable consideration of the council.
Yes.
Just refresh my memory, how many, is it 7 to 9 this fall?
7 to 9.
Yeah, I put 7, and as we get into it, if we need somebody else or
Because one of the things that jumped out at me, and that you can't just tell from names, but I didn't see any Hispanic representation or Guyanese representation, so can we continue to maybe look to fill those positions? Because I think that's important.
I would agree with you on that, and there were some names that were submitted and that were considered, but at this point, that's why there's room for 2 more, and the mayor has chosen at this time to start with 7, but still leaving room for fill those other slots.
Yeah, we had, a lot of people were interested too that didn't have to be city residents, and they wanted to be appointed to city residents.
Okay, fair enough.
Are there other questions? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Second?
All those in favor?
All right.
Thank you. Is there anything else to come before Health and Recreation? I do have one item. That's, it has to do with Central Park. I received a phone call, and there's nobody here from OGS, but maybe we can put it on the agenda in regards to the pavilion. And the concern was that these individuals had rented the pavilion, but they seem to be sharing it with the pigeons. And if there's some way to, while people are in there, to have it so that they can't just fly in and do what pigeons do. So,
If they pay their fee.
So if we could have maybe OGS come in the next couple of weeks and we could maybe discuss that, I'd appreciate that.
I think what they did at the Steinmetz Pavilion was a great idea. They screened
Yeah.
the beams, so
Yeah.
there's no place for the pigeons to go. They
Yeah,
have to just fly on through.
That's what I was
Which
told,
is
so,
a
yeah.
great idea, maybe somehow we can get that done up
A
there.
little chicken wire up there.
Well, I could send you 197 screaming kids, because we have not seen pigeons yet where our sport camp, so.
There are
They
some
must be
places
somewhere
where I'm
around
sure
here.
it's pigeons. I think.
Well, listen, okay, she said pigeons, so maybe there's birds in there and
Lovebirds.
people are eating.
Lovebirds.
And they don't want the birds to come do what the birds do.
Yeah, I've actually, when sitting in the memorial, the domestic violence memorial service,
Yeah.
thinking,
That was
Please.
cold. There was nobody, that was cold
please
and
don't have
raining.
me.
Yeah.
The birds do have quite a home in there.
So maybe in the next couple of weeks, we could ask OGS to talk about, maybe we could do what Simon's did and, give them no place
That's
to
a good
roost and
idea.
therefore they'll just fly through. So,
Okay.
that's it. Okay, is there anything else before Health and Recreation?
Motion adjourned?
All those in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you.
Call to order claims,
All right, turn the air back on.
as well executive session.
Yes, someone turn the air back on, right?
Thank you.
Need a motion?
Okay, we'll be going to executive session.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, okay.